Welcome to Lead Like a Girl, where we are empowering everyday women through our stories. I'm your host, Jessica Smith, and I began this journey by sharing my life story. Now, I've joined forces with my longtime friends, Jamie and Coralyn, to keep this party going. We met many years ago as young sales girls in our 20s, driven and quickly rising to the top of our industry. As the years went on, life happened, and we all found ourselves in new companies and completely different industries, still striving for success in it all. Career, family, faith, fun. Now, it wasn't easy, but we never stopped moving. Get ready for our real conversations, inspiring stories, and our big life lessons as we share it all. The good, the bad, and the funny. Welcome to Lead Like a Girl.
Welcome back to Lead Like a Girl. So we are back at it today with the trio, and in the spirit of Mother's Day, I want to kick us off today with a fun, I guess you can call it a fun little icebreaker. So, and I don't want you to think too much. Let's see how much we really know one another, okay? So going to, okay, you know what, Coralyn, I'm going to start with you. So,
geez.
So don't think too much into this. So don't worry, it's nothing. She's like, never know what's going to come out of my mouth. No, this is nothing.
True.
So I'm just going to ask a question, and there'll be just 10 quick questions. And just answer what it is. It's going to be this or this, okay? So the first one is home.
Are these the same questions for Jamie?
You know what? That's good. Let's just do it all at the same time, okay? So everybody can answer their answer one after another, right? So number one, home cooked meal or meal out?
Go. Home cooked. Meal out.
Meal out. Okay. Next
meal
one.
out. Are we talking Mother's Day, right? For Mother's Day?
Yeah.
Or just in life? Yeah. Okay, got it.
Well, it was in the spirit of Mother's Day, but however you want to take it. Okay.
Gotcha.
Picnic at the park or afternoon tea?
Picnic at the park.
Picnic. Okay. Flowers or chocolate?
Flowers.
Can
I change flowers into plants?
No, you can't change it. I thought the same thing. I was like neither. I don't like chocolate, and I'm not a flower person because they die.
I do like chocolate. Okay,
so
I would say give me some chocolate.
Okay. Jamie's gonna like this one. Tulips or orchards?
Yeah.
Orchids, you mean?
Orchids. Right.
I'll take the orchard.
Does it come with a grape pressing machine?
Wait, can
and
I
a fermenting process?
I'll take 6 apple trees.
Look,
for 500, Alex, please.
We were just talking about this, Core, before you came on. This is how much I don't know flowers. My backyard is so beautiful but ugly right now at the same time. The fence is up, the grass is green, there is not a flower inside, there is not a plant, there is nothing. It's sad.
We need to send Jessica one of those metal flowers that maybe like turns in the wind or something like that. Like it's just a stake in the ground and it'll always bloom. Like that's Jessica's level of gardening.
Absolutely.
Just a bunch of fake ones.
Back to the orchard.
Yes, back to the orchard. Which one?
Mine is a daisy. Just a really simple, like those. I think they're Gerbera. I've never really known how to pronounce that word, but the Gerbera daisies that are like hot pink and orange and yellow. Those are my favorite.
Oh, love it. Jamie, I know this one's so hard for you because there's so many you love. Which one?
Is this your favorite flower? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, or you can just pick one.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. I love peonies, they smell amazing, and they have this little bud, and they have to have ants all. I don't know if they have to, but they always have ants all over them. Peonies.
I actually have some of those in my backyard.
They're great. I love them. They're my favorite.
Yep.
Okay.
Also panties.
Those are also good for life.
and those also smell good. So hopefully.
Okay. Next question, please.
Going down the road.
Homemade homemade present?
Homemade card.
Homemade present, because I never know what the heck to do with the cards. Like, what do you like when you get birthday cards? Okay, how
what
long
do you do with
keep
the homemade
them?
present?
When do you throw them away?
Same. It's the same conversation.
Honestly,
I keep
don't
it for
like
a
either of
period
them.
of time.
Yeah.
And then
usually
I do,
because
I here's my theory. I'll argue this is that I feel like homemade card, homemade present. I feel like I'm just not a knickknack person. So the homemade part of it, I can enjoy it for the time. And then I don't feel like there was gobs of money like stuck into this thing that I feel like I need to keep around forever. I love it for a moment and then take a picture of it for a memory and then recycle.
That's a nice way.
Throw that clay ashtray in the garbage.
Right. Bury it in the backyard.
All right, next one. Facial or massage?
Massage all the way.
Massage.
I would say massage. Yeah.
Nails done or hair done? Hair did or nails did?
I'm gonna say
I'm taking
NA
my
to this.
hair.
You guys know my toxic trait is spending like $10 on my hair and like my nails. Like, no.
I will take my hair every day.
Nails every day.
I do like getting my nails done, but I will take my hair.
Okay. Breakfast in bed or buffet at the table?
Buffet at the table.
Breakfast in
Buffet
bed.
at the table.
Oh, okay.
I don't eat in bed. It sounds I don't know. I actually have never done that before, so I don't know. Maybe
you love it.
Maybe I would love it.
Eaten in bed?
No.
That is amazing.
No.
You should try it one day. Just,
We don't have we don't
ridiculous.
I mean we don't have a TV in our room. We just we sleep and do
I love that.
married people things in our bedroom.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, we have a TV that's always on in our room and it's on all night and it's sport. Yeah, that's another whole thing. I thought I was at home when I was in the hotel room this past weekend and I woke up, but my eyes weren't open and I was so upset because the TV was on and I was like, Alexa, turn the TV off. I said it like 3 times and then I was like, what the hell? And then I opened my eyes and realized I was at the hotel room. It was fun. Practical gifts or sentimental gifts?
Practical.
Practical all the way.
Practical. Yeah, I'm not a sentimental gal. Mother's Day lunch or Mother's Day brunch?
I was just
Brunch.
talking about
I
this morning. Yeah, brunch and breakfast. I was like, I could eat breakfast all the time. It's my favorite.
Yeah.
So many choices.
Me too. Totally brunch. All right. Well, that's it for our icebreaker. I enjoyed that. I just thought of that this morning, by the way.
That's good.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So let's get right into this. So our last episode, we kind of talked about, our previous life. And I know that each of us, it kind of ended a little differently, but then there was this, what I call life after DB. Like that's like a whole book in itself for me and really what that looked like. So that's kind of what I wanted to get into today. And I'll kind of kick us off. As I talked about, my ending was heartbreaking for myself. I felt like I lost a family, lost a job, lost my whole life plan and what I had just poured 20 years into building. So I think it was, for me, it was, I guess it was a little more traumatic. And what that next life, that next season looked like for me was, well, first of all, it was a major financial hardship. And that kind of hurt probably more than anything, if I'm being honest, because I'm like, I don't want to be poor,
okay.
and I know how that looks, and it's not a good look for me. So that was like a whole thing in itself. And again, God really showed us favor because we had someone. So I used to call him my Scottie Pippen, to me being Michael Jordan. Had a twin brother, worked for this company in Atlanta, and it was like, hey, I can get you an interview. So the crazy thing for me is I thought I had, after a series of interviews and coming to Atlanta, I thought that I had a sales manager position. And this was my first welcome to corporate America moment. Okay. So here we are. We sold our last house. We had our life savings based on that. We take everything, we move across the country on our own dime. We get here, and I'm like, I haven't heard from anyone. Now, the understanding I had gotten verbally is that I understood that I got the job. Great. That's how you get jobs. You got the job. Well, what I did not know is you don't get the job until you actually had that formal, I think they call it an offer letter, in your email. Okay.
That pesky email.
The actual formal offer letter. Get to Atlanta, and I'm like, where is that? So I called the hiring manager. I'm like, hey, I still haven't gotten that email with that, that offer letter thing that you talked about. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm really sorry. We decided to go in another direction. And
what?
I'm like, what? Yeah. What does that mean? Well, we hired an internal person. And I said, well, I know that one of the reasons why you guys were so interested in me is because you wanted someone external. You wanted a fresh set of eyes and someone outside of the automotive industry, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I did not have a job. And here we were. I had, which is another whole story, paid our rent to live in this gated community because they told us that we didn't qualify. And I was like, don't qualify. And I had this spirit of pride that just ate me up. And I was like, well, how about I just write you a check for the whole year's rent? Do I qualify now? And so here we were in this place that
sounds like something Jessica would do as a side note, right?
Like, I'm sorry, I don't qualify. So anyway, no job. I'm like totally just like, what are we going to do? No one has a job. We have to live. And I couldn't find another job making any money. Nobody wanted to hire me. They didn't care. As a matter of fact, having a role at a company for almost 20 years, for me, that was loyalty. And it was perceived as I was unmotivated or that's all you know. So it was very challenging. And I learned, again, we're thinking that the resume looks like, oh, wow, you've been with the company for 20 years. That's amazing. No, it was, why did you sit there for 20 years? And I had to tell the story. I was building this company because my dream was for it to be mine. So fast forward, I ended up asking, well, do you have a job for me? Like, I need any job. And they're like, well, I know you have a lot of experience. You can come in as just a sales rep, but, I don't want to insult you. I said, just if you can send me that offer today, I need a job. That's it. I get the offer. I look at it, the numbers, the math wasn't mathing. I said, insulted. No, thank you. Like, are you kidding me? Well, sat for about 3 weeks and it was like, what are we going to do? And Will was like, you need to call those people back and tell them that you'll take that job. You need to humble yourself. You need to put your pride aside. And that's it. This is where we're at. You just have to start all over. You have to start from the bottom. And that's it. And so
Jess, how hard was that? How hard was that?
I walked in there with, my Louis Vuitton bag with my high heels. I was dressed. Everybody's looking at me like, who are you and what job are you here for? So it was a humbling experience, to say the least. I took the job making what I made in Chicago in 1999. So very humbling experience for me. Total wake-up call that I might need a college degree. And it was hard. It was hard. So talk about started from the bottom. I started from the bottom. I went to the top, and now here I was back at the bottom again. So that was kind of how my next chapter started.
It's hard to. That's like probably one of the hardest things, is to be at the top of your game and then have to start over, like pivot. Especially with your career, pivot. But it's hard. You're like you're top of the game. Like, you're the top person in the country. You know what I mean? And then now you're starting completely over. I can completely empathize with that.
I think that word humble is real, right? And it's a conscious decision that you have to decide to do this, this isn't going to be the end, right? But it is going to be a new start in a different direction. And knowing my friend Jessica, was like, I'm not staying here for long, but we got to start someplace, right?
Yeah. No, humbling. Like I said, that was the experience. And for a minute there, I struggled. I wasn't mad at God, but I asked, like, what did I do wrong? Like, I thought I did everything right. I tried to live with honesty and integrity. I help people. I what did I do wrong? Why am I being punished like this? And so I had that moment. I don't know, when you guys start all over, like I said, from your perspective, is a little more of a choice. But I don't know if you ever felt that way when you're just like, I must be like, I have to be being punished right now. Like, what did I do wrong?
Yeah, it does. When something happens to you that is completely out of your control, and you feel like you said, that you've just done everything right, everything's going, and it still shows up short or falls short. It's hard. And I think with us, we're logical. We like to make sense out of things, that we work for what we get. And if the chips aren't falling and we're not seeing success right away, it's hard to be patient in the wait.
Yep. But I learned patience. I definitely did that. So Jamie, you mentioned that, you moved, right? You moved back home, and that was kind of your restart. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I was thinking about what you had said yesterday. I believe it was the last episode, when you had talked about basically like your skill set from the company, and how do those skills translate over to the next chapter. And that, when I was thinking about this topic, that was number one in the brain, because I don't know if anybody who's listening or watching us has ever had the experience of being in a position where you are 100% quality trained, in terms of, if you do this step, this step, this step, and this step, you will be successful. And then also having a ton of support and having a ton of camaraderie, and people celebrate your success, like they're on your side and they're on your team. So when you come from an environment like that, and then you go into your next position, which is what happened to me. So I went into my next position. I looked at account management, because I thought, all right, I can manage people. I've been a sales manager for almost 10 years. I was thinking about my skill set and how I could transfer the skills I learned into a new career. And a lot of it was phone. A lot of it was face-to-face contacts. It was a lot of like, just, crafting my own marketing emails and things like that. So I went to a company where we did branded website design, and we did subscriptions to a product. So the company we worked at together was a membership. So it related in a way. But very, very quickly, I was thrown into this position where there was no guidance. Nobody told me how to do my job. No one gave me tips or tricks. I remember my manager at the time.
No one gave you the magic of thinking big to read.
No. And not only that, I was probably the only one in that company who had ever read a book like that. I mean, they were just like, I just come to work and I push this button and that's what I do. And it was like, and two things happened.
Can you just show me how to push the button then, please?
Yeah, I know. It's like, can someone, which button? Show me. Once, twice? How many times do I push the button? The manager. So like the guy who's trying to, I don't know, this is going to sound really conceited, but when you're in a position where you're like, this guy's my boss. What? Like I can run circles around him. Like, okay, though, I'll do what you say. Like, I'll whatever.
Before.
Oh my gosh. Right. So, and I am a self-proclaimed tiny bit of a man hater. I'm going to just admit it right now. But some of it's because of, being in a position where it's like, I'm the only female, other than like the secretary. And then I've got all these sales guys that are like, just what are, all they do is email. They don't ever get on the phone. Anyway, whatever. I digress. So his piece of advice for me, again, no guidance in any way whatsoever. His piece of advice for me was, well, why don't you just call these accounts up and just ask them what's most important to them? And I'm like, thinking back to my other days where if my manager told me what to do, I would do exactly what he told me what to do because I knew he knew that I would be successful. So I get on the phone and I'm cold calling and I'm like, and there were libraries and universities and I was calling these places and quite literally saying, Jan, hi, Jan. So what's important to you?
Say that, did you?
And I'm Jan, like, in life or for life?
I know, totally.
What do you mean?
Yes. Jan's like, well, right now I have a paper cut. I don't know. What's important to you? What are you asking me? And I'm like, I don't know. So it took me a minute, right? I don't know.
That's a deep question right out of the gate from a cold call.
Hey, what's important to you?
Can you also let me know what your 10-year life plan is, please?
And what's your favorite color? Just while we're at it. Yeah, I learned that lesson of I had a great training to begin with, but you know what? For the rest of my sales careers, I'm gonna have to make this up on my own. I'm gonna have to figure this out on my own. I cannot rely on anybody to give me
training.
Which is what I ultimately did, right?
Yeah.
Went back to what we talked about before, where it's like, okay, I'm not going to call this person and ask them what's important to them. I'm going to spend 10 minutes chatting with them about what they do for their position, getting them to getting a little relationship building going, building that like and trust.
Like and trust.
Like and trust. I'm going to go back to what I know and what I know to be successful. And so that was one of the first skill sets that I took personally from our first position together to my next chapter was, I need to get these people to like me first. They need to like me. They need to trust me. And then I can talk about, okay, in terms of this, that, or whatever, what's important to you? Right. What's your goal? What's your financial expectation? What's your, all of those questions that help you get to the next point. But I worked for that company for a long time. I became the top salesperson. Of
course you did. Of course.
Well, in their defense, if you saw the sales team,
your competition.
What is that cliche? Jessica, you're gonna love this one. You probably haven't heard this one. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed giant is king or something, and the one-eyed man is king.
That's another new one. I'm gonna have to write that
there you go. There you go.
No, Jamie, I just love, and this is, and I'm sure we all had these moments where, and I think what I'm hearing, the moral of your story is really that those skills that we had from DB and that training and that, like, this thing was so much more than just transferable skills. For me, these were life skills. Like, these are skills that I actually passed down to my children in raising my children, right? And so I love that. Cor, what about you?
Yeah, I think that when coming out of the company, the natural inclination was to go work in sales. And so I think that, but honestly, I didn't know, like I said in our last episode, I didn't know what I wanted to do or what I was really truly going to be good at. And I think that coupled with the fact that personally, I had some things happening personally also that affected what I thought I wanted to do in life. I had come to know my faith. I was trying to grow deeper in my Christian faith. My husband actually is a youth pastor and was in that role for 20 years. And so during this time, I was having a significant heart change that I thought that maybe I don't want to be in corporate America. Maybe I don't want to have just a regular sales job. Maybe there's more purpose to the job that I have. And so I was volunteering with our church, and kind of my husband was Batman. I was a little bit of a Robin, like helping him, like he's a great youth pastor, but I was like kind of keeping him like doing the checklist and making sure the kids don't die, like those kind of things, while he's being like Superman and doing all these things. And so I was having a little bit of heart change. And so when I came to find a job, my first role out of the company was working for a nonprofit.
Nice.
But I think that during that time though, I just wasn't really sure. I think that I wandered a little bit. Like I had tried for this. I worked for the nonprofit, and one of the things we find, probably know this, when you work for a nonprofit, it's fun and you feel like you're your work is purposeful. It was a fundraising position, so it was tied with sales. But even at that nonprofit, there's not a huge paycheck at the end of the day. You're getting paid in you're getting paid in helping people. You're getting paid in joy. You're getting but it's hard to make the ends meet that way. And so I had a little bit of a side.
You can't pay
job.
your mortgage in kind words.
You can't pay your mortgage in joy. So it was just always this like little trying to find something else, and I wasn't super settled there. And I don't know if you guys have had this issue too, or another thing is that you tell people that you work in sales, and the home business people come out of the woodwork.
Oh yeah.
The multi-level marketing.
Every single one. Yes.
Yep.
I mean, and God bless them. I think that there's definitely, I don't want to talk about it.
And you don't even have to tell them you work in sales. Just have a conversation. And they're like, you were it.
Right.
They're like, hey, you participated in my presentation and answered my question. So guess what? We're best friends now.
Right. So I tried a little bit of that, realized real quickly, this is not my role.
Nope.
So fast forward, I was working at this nonprofit, and the really interesting story is that part of my role was to fundraise, and we had a list of people who had never donated at all. And so I'm working my way through this list again, cold calling, building like and trust with all these new businesses. And lo and behold, I was working with this company, a big manufacturing company in our town, and I had called the president, didn't answer me. Called the HR person, didn't answer me. I somehow tracked down the email of the founder, the owner of the company, and he bid on my email for whatever reason, and we ended up meeting at a coffee shop in our small town. And my goal was to get them to give our organization a donation. Well, you fast forward in this conversation, I ended up it was probably an hour and a half lunch. And
of course it was, because it's
you.
Sorry.
Just chatting. What'd you say?
I said you ate nothing.
We ate nothing. We just chatted. But, one of the great things I feel like I was exposed to through this is that I learned about this company, and the owner of this business had talked about his mission, his purpose, that his goal for his company was obviously to be a profitable company and do all the things that business people do, but greater than that was to give back and be a part of something that's bigger. I had learned that he was a Christian and had a really strong faith. And walking away from this lunch that I had, sadly, I did not get a donation. I did not win the sale.
I was thinking that the whole time. I'm like, did you get the donation?
I know. I did not. And thinking that at the time, I don't get a no. It's just a not yet. It'll come around. Right. But I remember thinking that, man, I didn't get a win on this day, but if I ever had the opportunity to work for that company, I want to, because I feel like whatever I could do, whatever it was tied to a bigger purpose, where even though I wasn't directly in ministry, I could use my job as ministry. So crazy enough, totally God thing. I believe this to my soul, that maybe a month, 2 months later, I'm looking through just, the Indeed or job postings and whatnot. And this company had a sales position.
It wasn't the newspaper available. Then? Where we're past the jobs in the newspaper at that
I know we're past the newspaper. I was not. It was online for sure. But this company had a sales role open, and I read it, and I just thought, I'm getting that job. I'm working for this company. And so I went to interview. Company? I'm sorry?
Did you realize at that point it was the same company?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. No, it was, yeah. So it was at this company, the same company I just interviewed. They had a sales role open, and I just thought, I'm getting this role. I'm getting this job. And so I fast forward, I went into interview, and I remember I'm going to do all the things, develop like and trust with the people I'm interviewing with, just make them love me. And this is going to be an easy yes for them to tell me yes. And come to find out that this job is what they sold is a very highly technical industrial product. It's manufacturing. So the role is not only sales, but it's reading blueprints and figuring out, just how to build something. And so
I'm out.
see, in my impression, right? And so in my impression, you needed to have a little bit of an engineering mechanical background. And I would never advise this to ask anybody. But I remember I was feeling like the job is going well, or the interview is going well. I feel like I'm going down, like going to get this role. And they're like, do you have any questions for me? And I literally asked them the worst question ever, but I just wanted to know. I asked them, so I feel like this is good, but do you think that I can do this job? Do you think that I can sell this?
No, you didn't.
So no, I totally did, because I was pretty confident that they wanted me.
Wow.
They wanted me, but I didn't. But I know, but I did not want to go into this role and not be able to do this, put together the mechanical side of this and put together the bids in the right way and just mess up everything. I just wanted, like, are you confident that I can do this? And the guy that interviewed with me looked at me, he was like, oh yeah. He's like, there's so many people that they don't have the technical background. We can teach that. We need somebody with a personality. I'm like, well, I got that. I can do that. And so
I got one of those.
done. I can bring a personality. I can do that. And so the next day or two, I got a call from the HR that we want to give you an offer, and there I am. I love it. Won the role. Yeah.
Well,
so that was kind of a fun circle story.
I just need the listeners to know that is a question that you never ask in an interview, but that's
right.
Like,
do not follow my lead with that one. That was a very dumb question.
But she had a supernatural favor, right? She had supernatural favor on her in that interview, and that's the best part of that story. Listen, thank you ladies for sharing. I know that you have a million things to do today. So we are out of here until the next episode. Thank you so much. And I love you. Bye.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.